Hey there, guys. I want to share with you today one teaching strategy, and I would say even maybe philosophy that has guided me over the last 2 years, and it's served me really, really well. Um, and that is, when you're teaching, you want to create an experience for your students. A lot of times we can get really caught up on teaching like what is in a book, or we can get caught up on teaching a word or a grammar. And what I want to say is every now and then, push that aside and focus more so instead of getting this word or grammar to the sentence. Focus more so on getting an experience to the student. We remember things best when we have an experience. So I want to go a little bit over why. First of all, why would you want to create an experience for your students? The first thing is retention, and I mean retention really in two ways. The first way, of course, is memory retention. Um, if you meet me on the street and I tell you my name, hey there, hi, my name's Austin, there's a big chance that's not gonna stick with you. You're gonna, oh, it's that one guy, But if I come up to you and I'm, wearing this big old pink, shirt, some purple polka dots, and then when you see me, all of a sudden there's a big car crash too, and then I bump into you, and oh, hey there, hey, wow, what just happened? Oh, by the way, my name's Austin. There's a much bigger chance that it's going to stick with you. And our students are exactly the same. One of our biggest goals is for our students to remember and retain as much as what we teach them. It makes it easier for us as teachers. It makes it a more rewarding experience for them when they're remembering what they're learning. And it's also going to make parents much more happier too. So creating an experience is definitely going to make this happen. Now, I also mean retention as far as students. If you're creating experiences for your students, they're usually going to be having a much funner time in your classroom. And that is one of the best ways to keep students around. They have an amazing experience, and then when they're walking out of that door and they're seeing their parents, what are the first things they're saying? Mom, guess what I did today? And they have so much energy as they're talking to their parents. And the parent is going to want to keep that student there because it's hard to find a place where kids actually love to study. They're going to want to keep the child there. But then something else beyond that is that then the parent starts talking to the parents around them. Hey, this place is okay. And that's going to lead to the second, really reason why you want to create an experience is WOM or word of mouth. You have parents, kind of sharing with them, wow, hey, my student, or not my student, my son, my daughter really loves this place. And then that's how word of mouth happens. You're creating experiences for the students. They're having an amazing time. They're sharing that with their parents, and then these parents, they share it with their friends, and then these friends have kids, and you're going to start seeing these kids coming to you. So those are two really strong reasons why you want to create an experience. Now, that might be all simple and all, but really you got to think about how can you create an experience. So I put up here reverse engineering. Now, what reverse engineering is, you have something that you want to get. So, for example, maybe you want to get more students, right? Or you want to have students that are going to stay with you for 2 or 3 or 5 years, however long, because that's going to make your job much easier. That's what you want. So you're trying to think about how to get that. What reverse engineering is, you're thinking about that result and you go backwards. Okay, to get this result, what's the most immediate cause and effect relationship there? And then you think about this cause, and then, okay, what's the most immediate cause and effect relationship here? And you kind of reverse engineer it to see what you can do. So, for example, right, you want more students. How are you going to get that? Word of mouth. And then you want word of mouth. How are you going to get that? Your students are going to be having fun. They're going to, maybe they're going to be really enjoying their experience. And you want that. How are you going to have that to happen? You're going to have, experiences. You're going to create really great experiences for your students. And then, how are you going to create experiences for your students? That's the next thing you got to think about. So, I got 2 or 3 ways here, and also I'm going to show an example pretty soon that you can use immediately in your class. I hope it's really useful. By the way, if you have any other really great ways to create experiences, leave it in the feedback. I'd love to hear that. So, one thing is, think about your passion. So, for example, maybe you're really passionate about drawing. Then incorporate that into your class. Maybe you're really passionate about food in some way. Incorporate that into your class. Now you're thinking, hey, my students, though, they're not interested in cooking, they're not interested in drawing. Like, a lot of students are, but, my students are not, interested in these things. Why would I do it? Because when you're teaching with what you're passionate about, you're going to have energy. And when you have that energy, you are connecting with your students in a much stronger way. When you don't have that energy, you're not connecting with your students, and they're kind of falling asleep. So even though they might not be passionate about it, you are passionate about it. So incorporate that into what you're teaching so that you have that energy. There might be a vacuum sound back there. The second thing I have here is create. If you think about, young kids, when they create something, they love to share it with their parents. And why is that? Because they feel proud about it, right? I have a lot of students and they want to show me their homework. Why is that? Because they put a lot of effort into it and they're really proud about it and they want to share it with me. Some people love cooking. Why do they love cooking? Because they create something and then they can share it with someone else. And when they share it with someone else, they get excited. They feel good. It's the same thing for us as teachers. If we are kind of creating something, whatever it may be, even if it's like a lesson plan, but we're creating something and we're putting in some passion, some energy and effort as we're creating it, we're going to be a bit more excited to kind of share it with our students. Especially if we're kind of creating something somewhat out of the box that, they might not have seen before, but we think they're going to like. We're going to get excited. And just that excitement in of itself is enough to create an experience sometimes for students. So I put here one example. I'm actually going to share two examples with you guys. I'll share one that's really fast. Right here I have this virtual reality box. I got it for about $10. I live in Korea, so it cost me about $1. And with this, I can put my cell phone in here. I can go on YouTube. I can put in a filter for 360. They can put it on their head, and I can, basically the student can go to a totally different world, during class time. But why would I want that? I can teach a lot of words, a lot of grammar, a lot of vocabulary with this. One thing I really especially love doing is I grab a chair and I might do something like a roller coaster. So that they have this in their head and maybe they're seeing some kind of roller coaster or something in here. They can sit down here and then I can start moving the chair so they really, really kind of get like that, immersive experience. But of course, the really important thing is you want to connect that to whatever it is you're teaching. I'm going to show you guys one more example really fast, but I want to mention this guy down here, Dave Burgess. He wrote a book called Teach Like a Pirate. I highly recommend it. He gets a lot more into kind of what I'm talking about right now. So I'm going to show you guys one more experience really, really fast. So let me grab my camera for this. And come on over here. All right. So this is something I've done recently with my class. If possible, I might try to put a video of it. So if you see right here, I got this card. I just made this really quickly. I didn't put much pictures or anything, but students really love this. Here it says, to the mountains. And you can put some grammar here as well too, like we have to go to, or we must, something like that. We must go to the mountains. The students come over here. This is number 1. They read it, and then after they read it, they gotta run down here to number 2. Number 2 right here is up the cliff. So for this one, I have the students, they grab my hand here, and then they climb up here kind of with their legs, they spin, and then they go over here to number 3. Number 3 is through the cave. And of course, then again here, you can apply whatever grammar you want to apply. And then here, so they read it, I got my table here. Sorry for the shakiness. They go under here, boom, 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 boom. And then they get to number 4. Past the monster. So kind of what I'm doing with this is I'm thinking a little bit about gaming, video gaming. If you're in a video game, you always have the boss of the level. So they get to here, and for this one, the monster, I have me. And then I'm kind of the monster in the game. And they need to hit my 2 arms, my 2 legs, and then I'm the monster, I die. They get to number 5 here. To the treasure. They, again, whatever grammar you're teaching, you can apply it here. They read it and they run down here. And then right here, we got our class money. And students, when I do this, I might put some kind of music in the background. I'm thinking a little bit about gaming, and that's actually one thing I didn't mention here, but that gaming is one really great way to also create experiences in the classroom. So we go through this, and a lot of times students, they're saying, hey teacher, I want to do it again. And also what I noticed is that whatever grammar it was I was teaching, or whatever word or whatever, they remember it, a year, 2 years later. It sticks with them. So this is just one example of creating an experience. And again, I would recommend a lot of teachers, don't think about so much what you're teaching. Think about that, but think more so about how can you create an experience and then incorporate whatever you're teaching into that experience. All right. So again, guys, yes, I'm sure a lot of teachers out there, they're making experiences all the time. Talk about some of the ways that you do it down below. Yeah, peace. See you guys later.